Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of day 2 of the first Powermorphing of Wealth Creators University. I have to say, I've intensely been involved in this course and my brain is fried. It has been an incredible 2 days, but really, using up every amount of energy and brain matter that you've actually got. I've positioned myself in quite an interesting spot. Last night, this is where we did the firewalk, and I think for anyone who was on the course, they're going to agree that this was probably the apex of the course. We did some phenomenal stuff in the mental, but at the end of the day, to be able to walk over fire, and you can actually see there the black lines of fire. The heat was over 600 degrees last night, and 35 odd people walked across it, and some people walked across it multiple times. A couple of us, Jimmy and myself, did it up to 16 times basically, and yeah, my feet were a little bit tender. I was very glad this morning to wake up and have no blisters, and it was quite a sight to watch Tanya and Hannes doing some sort of funny, must be a Pretoria dance I think, but on that fire, on the coals, literally, not even just walking, dancing on the coals, which was amazing to see, and shows you what you can actually achieve when you've got that power of the mind. So what were the lessons I learned today? There's actually quite a few of them. Today was a phenomenally intensive day, but I want to try and just summarize some of them. And the first one that I got that I think is great is that you are born into greatness. When you're a baby, you are born into greatness. But unfortunately, through life, you are conditioned into mediocrity. And you've got to change that. You've got to change that programming, because you have the right to be great. And you've got to work out how to do it. Go out there and actually do it, basically. I found I loved that statement by Hannes. The next thing was, if you want to change the outer world, you've got to start with the internal world first. You've got to understand yourself. You've got to be in control of yourself. And once you're in control of yourself, you can manifest whatever you want in the external world. But everyone always wants to start out there. They always want to start in the external world. But they don't realize it starts in here. And when you get control in here, then everything you want out there can become a reality. The third thing was the subconscious mind. I found this fascinating. You know, we've got a subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is there to make our lives easier. You know, through experience, it basically gets trained, and ultimately, when we've done something, and if it worked for us, then the subconscious mind teaches us to just do it again, like tying your shoelace. Imagine how difficult it would be if you had to relearn to tie your shoelace each and every time you did it. But to be fair, the problem with the subconscious mind is it keeps you in a zone of comfort. It doesn't want you to push out. It doesn't want you to go into new areas, because at the end of the day, it's scary. And that's where the ego also holds you back. And your goal is that you've got to get in control of your mind. You've got to program and control your conscious mind. And ultimately, you've got to control the programming which is in your subconscious mind, so that you can manifest and have whatever you want in your life. The fourth thing that I found interesting was the spirit. And Hannes calls it the witness. And the witness and your spirit will let you know if you are living according to your potential. If you are growing and literally expanding your potential to be everything that you can be. And if you're not, you will know it. You will have an awkward, horrible feeling. Some people might even get sick. Some of the students were giving renditions of how if you're not doing it, you can get physically sick. So you need to strive for that. You need to strive for that fulfillment, for that growth, so that you know you're expanding your potential, and ultimately your spirit and your witness will let you know that you're going in the right direction. And I think that's a goal for all of us, that we are constantly looking to achieve. You know, the fifth human need is to grow, and we all need to do that, because if you're not growing, you're dying. The next one was, today we worked out, and we started off with a whole thing on an experience where we went through time and we worked out what was most important to us. We had different periods of time, and we had to really focus, and the intensity and the emotion was tremendous, because you know, with feeling and with emotions, you can go to a time either forward or back, but you can experience it today, and it shows you how powerful it is with your emotions. And when you did that feeling and you had very limited time left, you worked out in your life what was the most important thing. What were you going to focus on? How were you going to make sure that you were doing what you needed to do? And I think that is very interesting, basically. Then once you knew what was very important to you, you also needed to work out what your resistors were. What has been holding you back? And I personally found a massive resistor. You know, on the surface, I've got a lot of confidence and I've got a lot of results, but there's been things that are holding me back, and excuses I make to myself and I got to the bottom of what one of those, the main resistor that's behind that, and an incredibly and powerful experience, and I came up with ways to eliminate that resistor, and ultimately now I can go forward and I can get those results. We then moved on to the power morphing process, and working out what are the most important things to you, and ultimately what is your power goal. I wrote on my hand here, I've been doing it ever since Hannes taught me. In January I told you my power goals for this year are 120, 50, 85. I want to earn 120,000 Rand, I want a passive income of 50,000 Rand, and I want to weigh 85 kilos. And those are big, big goals. I desperately want them. The intent is huge, but it's also bloody difficult to get those goals. And today I focused on the first one, though, earning 120,000 Rand a month, because that will then lead to the other things from a financial perspective. And you had to consciously focus on why you wanted it and how you were going to get it. And then you had to read it 100 times. Do you have any idea how long it takes to read something 100 times? You needed incredible willpower, incredible intent, incredible focus, which are all the things of the formula for riches, for making sure that you get it. But then really I was amazed, because then we got to what we called the power affirmation. And what you had to do then is you had to say, right, once I've got my goal, it had to be a SMART goal, it had to be a number, and it had to be done by a certain date, so that it could be measured and it could be achieved. And then you had to take that date and you had to imagine what it would feel like when you achieve that goal, what would actually happen. And I got super creative, I got hell of excited. I was looking out over the ocean, closing my eyes and being grateful that I'd had the opportunity to get on the road to financial freedom. I was running down and hugging my wife and whirling her around and blah, blah, blah. I wrote this huge, long, creative story about walking on the beach and having fun with my dog, and just really appreciating that I'd conquered this power goal, and if I could conquer this, I could conquer anything else in my life. And then Hannes asked us to write that 20 times. And I'll be honest with you, my hand bloody nearly fell off. It reminded me of geography back in matric, where you were trying to write as much as you could in the 3 or 4 hour exam that we used to have. So ladies and gentlemen, that is it. I think, today the students were weary by the end. It was a hell of an intense course, but I came this weekend with quite down, basically. I've really put in a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of energy this year, and I'm not getting the results that I wanted, and the momentum, it just doesn't feel like it's going in the right direction, and I was getting frustrated and pissed off and felt overwhelmed. And I came on this course and it just couldn't have been better timing, and it was fantastic, and it's just raised my spirits. It's given me that energy, it's given me that power that I honestly really needed. And now I've got complete clarity and complete focus, and I've even got a visualization. I've got my power affirmation as to what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. So day 2 was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend that everyone goes on this course, this power morphing course, just like the 49-day mental challenge. It's so important to get in control of your mind, because that is the key to everything you want. That is the key to abundance, it's the key to happiness, it's the key to success, it's the key to love. It's whatever you want in your life. So day 2, to all of you that were on the course, it was an incredible experience to do that fire walk with you. You're a great bunch of people this weekend. The energy was awesome. To those of you who haven't, we look forward to seeing you here. What a great course. Thank you so much. Chat to you soon.